Alright, quick note before this video really starts. I'll give you like the timestamp for the video like right now, or give it to you for like a couple seconds. So if you want to skip this part, alright. So, for the companies that made this film, please don't copyright claim this video. The reason why I say this is because I'm only going to be using trailer footage, and that's because for my Lake Plastic event, I tried to actually edit it using clips from the film, but I got blocked in most territories, and the only reason that video is up because I had to re-upload different ways, and even then, that's just from a dispute, so there's no restrictions for 20 days, so it may go down. So yeah, I'm only going to be using trailer footage, so you can't get on me for that. If you're going to get on me for that, get on the people that upload the trailer. And it's kind of worse because they're exposing clips of the film that you don't want to see to a bigger audience than me. Now, if this video gets more views, that's not really my fault, but still, they're exposing it to a larger audience than me. And plus, I'm just using the clips that professional movie trailer channels or just websites upload onto YouTube and other websites. So it's not my fault. I'm just using the trailer footage that you guys released and other companies that were associated with this film distributing it, or other professional companies. So yeah, you can't really copy strike me for this, because I'm not really. I'm just using fair footage that's on YouTube. It's fair game, I guess, if you want to say that. So yeah, let's get into the actual intro of this film. There are many bad found footage films, and many good found footage films. Probably more than you know. I'm not saying for sure that there's more than you know, just probably more. But there comes a time where a found footage film is made, and it's so bad, so unfathomably and unimaginably bad, that I just wonder why and honestly how. This film in question is Open Water 3 Cage Dive. You know how most bad found footage films are boring? Well, what this film replaces intense boredom with, even though it's still kind of boring, is bad, lame love triangles and terrible scares and just cheap characters, or just cliche characters. So yeah, let's just get into this film. The film starts with the diver going to a shallow reef and finding the camera of the footage we'll see, which is like, really? The sharks were on this shallow reef that wasn't even that deep? And that was towards the end of the movie? I mean, he was close to land and he just gave up, like the last character alive? Okay then, we then see news reports about how our main character's boat was capsized along with 20-something other people, and it gets repeated again and again. We get a movie, but why show us this when we have to spend 30 minutes setting up these characters and then doing the cage dive? We know it's going to go wrong, and we know exactly how it's going to go wrong. Leave us in the dark on what really happened. They even show a goddamn simulation of what happened, which is a rogue wave. Stop spoiling what happens to the boat, so there's no mystery in what happens, and I'm bored when I see it. So cut to 1 week later as more footage is repeated of the diver finding the camera. Ugh, please stop adding time, movie. We get an interview of the diver that found the footage, where we see footage of him holding the camera, presumably in the same area found it, and again, like I said, we see not too far off land, so why didn't the main trio or the last character alive swim to it? What the hell? That just makes their death seem more stupid because they were closer to land, or at least it seems like it. We then see footage of the main trio, just long enough to know that the couple, because there's a couple and then there's one other guy, are pervs as the dude leaves the camera on and the girl strips, though it turns off before she's topless. They make an audition tape to try and get in this crazy cool shark dive thing, and we already know they'll win, because like, what will this film be about? Them losing, and them going into a spiral of madness, and then they go into their pool, and then one of them turns into a shark or something. They get on their flight to meet their brother, or whatever, who's named Greg, who leads them onto this boat, and they just mess around for a while before we get a fake jump scare. Ugh, I really hate those. But it's not the last time there will be a fake jump scare in this movie. Oh dear God. They go to a party and do their shtick, and it's not that fun. It's not really building characters. Where's the subtle dialogue and natural human flaws? Well, I guess we get that later, but this is just boring, uninteresting filler. We get a scene of the dude named Jeff, I believe, who's like the dude in the couple, who I think cites another reason for why they should be picked for the crazy cool shark dive, which makes me wonder, were you still going to pay for the flight to the area near the show or the shark dive thing if they weren't even going to get chosen? Seems like a waste of money, but obviously they do get chosen, but still, what if they didn't? Turns out Jeff is going to propose to Megan, who's the girl. I forgot to mention their names, and I will later in the script, just because they're really uninteresting characters. But he soon leaves once she enters, and this dude named Josh, who's the brother of Jeff, also enters, and he's also in love with her. Wow, great. I live for the totally necessary love triangles in horror found footage movies. So great. Just so amazing. I hate the entire trio. So of course that's why they get worse as the film goes on. Wait a minute. The scene ends and they go to a hotel close to the cage diving place, so I guess they got accepted? I'm still kind of confused, but whatever. Jeff and Josh, which sounds like a spin-off of Drake and Josh, watch the audition tape, and before Jeff can see Josh and Megan kissing, he pulls them aside and talks about the trip, etc. Even though, how did he not notice there's a camera filming before? It's barely hidden by like a cloth. You would definitely see it. They get into a boat, and I do have to commend the actors for playing in some solid performances and trying to add depth to their characters. It's just that the script wasn't really that good and giving them that much to work with. The captain of the boat recites some rules of what to do when you're alone or fall off the boat, etc., and the boat leaves. The main trio gets into the cage, and we get some solid shark footage for a couple of minutes before they get up and see a giant rogue wave that capsizes the boat and sends it tumbling into the... not really tumbling, but falling into the ocean along with a bunch of other people. How did nobody notice? In Poison Dawn, they did notice, and they tried to get out of the way, but they still got capsized, so... I don't know how... I don't understand. Why didn't nobody try to get them out of the water? Why did nobody notice? I mean, the boat did kind of move a little bit, but I didn't really hear any people saying, "Oh my god, there's a rogue wave, and we've got to get out of the way," or something like that. It just really makes no sense. They get out along with this guy and this girl, and the guy's bleeding, but they don't last like 5 seconds, or they last like barely longer than 5 seconds, really, before they get killed by a shark. Maybe don't allow blood to drip into the ocean, idiot. Another guy survived, but as he swims towards the main trio, he gets killed doing an obvious jump scare by shark. Maybe be less obvious movie when you're like shooting the jump scare, because they like go, the camera goes into the ocean and just stands there or just is still for a little bit. Turns out Megan also has a somewhat small wound, which isn't good because it can be infected. But no time for that. There's a boat, and Josh goes to try and swim after it, but Megan says he can't because you shouldn't swim alone. How about all three of you swim? I know Megan says she can't, but just have one of them hold her, or just her be on Jeff's back maybe. Easy solution. We then cut to footage on the helicopter. Wait, what? How? Do people record footage of people? What? Oh. So there's footage of people in the helicopter? That seems a little weird. They go down and rescue some people on the boat, and the trio's nowhere to be seen. How far away is everyone? Just, where's like the distance from the boat and the people? Just, how far away is everyone? Like, really? The main trio finds some life vests, so there's that. Jeff apparently has a heart thing, which the cage dive show thing said that they couldn't have, or at least they couldn't have like a medication or something. So yeah, maybe you shouldn't have gone, or at least bring the medication, idiot. There's another thing drifting in the ocean now like a big box, and the trio wait for a bit for it to come closer, and it does, but it starts to drift away, and Jeff tries to get it, but Megan, the almighty idiot, says how they can't split up. Yeah, but it's really close, and you guys missed a boat earlier. I didn't mention that because it was kind of inconsequential and nothing really happened. What if it has food or some flares? And once again, you can hang on to one of them so you won't split up. All of you will swim. But of course not, as he eventually gets it, but the sharks come. Maybe I wonder if it's because Megan is screaming and splashing around, like she does for most of this movie. So he doesn't end up getting it, which is so great, but that's fine since they do get food and water, etc. when they find a life raft full of those things, and a first aid kit which Jeff uses to treat Megan's cut. Cut to Megan lighting her first flare, which foreshadows her lighting her first raft, which will make me hate her even more. Hint hint, the first draft is the one that they're on. Megan makes a little message in case she dies, which we all know they all will, because we only see the camera at the reef in the beginning, and she says that she's going to fix something, which I can only interpret as a love triangle. Yes, please do. It's rather annoying. We get another lame jump scare, which reminds me of the scares in this film. They suck. Most are rather predictable and shot in such a way that's intentionally low, and then, BAM! Jump scare. Remember when films weren't obviously setting up jump scares, and they weren't just random things that happened, and it led to a really cool, intense scene? Yeah, me too. This film was jump scares, which pretty much lead to nothing. People getting eaten, which just leads to the shark leaving and not chasing or swimming after our heroes, or fake outs while Jeff and Megan were making out. Josh just, jumps into the water. It's annoying, and these writers seem almost self-aware about it. I don't really know, which kind of makes it seem worse. They're, intentionally doing it, which kind of pisses me off. Do jump scares well, movie, not cheaply. The sharks are mildly scary, but not that much. They rarely show up, which isn't that bad. But these characters are rather hollow people. They aren't really flawed or learn something in the end, as all they do is bicker like kids for 80 minutes before dying. They don't have traits besides being morons and funny, but that's really it. And they're not even that funny. These characters are only saved by at the least very decent performances, or, yeah, somewhat decent performances. They try to give them life, but these characters are only saying things, even the actors are trying to make their characters better, confined in their single tropes. Dumb blonde girl, persistent jock, and weirdo teen. all lame cliches, even if they're not that well known, and tropes. They all act in those confinements which don't allow for us to really know them or feel bad for them when the supposed scary scenes happen. They just act within those finely packaged tropes and don't do anything new or different, so they just feel like another disposable batch of teens. And if they do something so different, it's really cliched or so dumb that makes me lose interest in the movie at all. Solid setup for a bit, but then a lame love triangle, and you can't even give us that many sharks or scenes with sharks. We're 50 minutes in, and the sharks have mostly been eating bait or briefly popping up for lame jump scares. Make them sink the raft or something to keep a non-stop motion to the film so we don't fall asleep or just get really uninterested. You are putting too much pressure on the actors to hold the film in ad-lib since nothing else really works. The sharks barely pop in, and the script isn't really that different or good, so the actors have to desperately hold the film together. Don't do that. It makes for an unpleasant experience. So yeah, sorry for my mini rant. Let's get back to the film. Apparently there's like a shark, and Megan is still scared after seeing them. Ew, what? Even though she's seen them a bit, and she's in the safety of the raft. Okay then. They find a girl who's apparently really cold and unconscious, but that doesn't last long before Megan the dumbass tries to use another flare, even though we haven't seen another helicopter, and lights up the raft like a moron. The way the film progresses is really dumb. It purely relies on coincidences. Oh, a life vest happened to appear. Oh, a box happened to appear. Oh, a life raft happened to appear. It's like, it's just really dumb. These people are too lucky, and to compensate, the writers make the characters extremely dumb. Don't do that. Have other ways the plot progresses. They go back to the boat once it rises again to get some food and flares, and they start singing, and they're surrounded by some bait, so they're chased by the shark. Maybe they get some on it. Have them try to send a signal in Morse code by teaching themselves by building a signal or a phone of some type. Have the helicopter crash. Just anything. This keeps my interest at an all-time high with new inventive scenes instead of semi-decent banter for 90% of the film. It gets boring and makes the film feel really uneventful. I get you may have a small budget, but stretch that budget out. Get someone who knows to do that. James Cameron used to know how to do that, but now I guess not. I don't know. But still, progress the plot without sacrificing enjoyment and integrity and my care for the characters. Don't make the plot progress because they're idiots. Make the plot progress because they're hopeless and surrounded by sharks or something interesting. Please, movie, I'm begging you, be better. So yeah, the raft is done for not even 10 minutes after it's introduced. Bro momento right here, folks. Also, that girl that was unconscious, yeah, she woke up and she's literal toast. She burns alive. This is our main character. One of them. A fucking bumbling idiot who kills someone. Just amazing. So amazing. Chef's kiss in terms of writing. Just, ah. Now they're all pissed and Megan tries to blame Jeff for all this, which is like, wow, okay, sure. I'm sure that girl that was once in the raft that used to exist would like to smack the shit out of you for that really hypocritical statement. And the fact that Josh, also like Megan, starts to come out and, you can handle this, Josh. You can handle this better. Just say this basically verbatim. Look, I like Megan too. I kissed her and I was in love with it. It was just a spur of the moment thing, okay? I'm sorry. I don't want to tear you guys apart. I was gonna, tell you about it now, but I just got so caught up with other things and seeing my long-lost brother, something like that. Okay, something like that. I don't know. Jeff gets mad, so now he's a guy I kind of like. Josh handled this pretty horribly, so you deserve it. Megan then gets killed, I think, and the sharks finally do something important 65 minutes into an 80-minute movie. Wow. But then Jeff decides to be an ass. And yeah, praise around Josh like an asshat. I know he cheated on you, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, this is a life or death situation. Holy shit, Jeff, get your head out of your goddamn ass and stop insulting him. Work together to live. But Jeff dies like he deserves to after trying to pretty much kill Josh like a moron and drown him because of his heart condition. And now we're left with a guy I don't like. Yet I don't really want to die because, I don't know, he's okay. So he says his last words about how he's sorry and how he loves his family as he's killed by a shark. Ugh. I mean, I do kind of feel bad, and once again, I have to commend the performance of the dude playing Josh, or just the actors. But yeah, this dude playing Josh, also called Josh, but last name Potov, who's also in this very intriguing film called The Umbrella. All of these actors do well, it's just that the characters suck. So yeah, the film ends as a shark pops out for a jump scare and kills our main character. And, yeah. And then it ends with, thanks to all the families for the support, something like that. Overall, I actually do recommend. I know I just ripped this movie apart as the worst found footage movie ever, but what I want everyone to take away from this is that's only the worst because it's going in the wrong directions. The writers just need to be guided into a better direction for this film. Check it out just to see how it unfolds. It will help you become more critical like it has for me, at least I think. Or maybe see things in a new light. It's the antithesis of movies in general, especially found footage horror. But I think that's why I love it in a weird way. So yeah, check it out. It may be the worst found footage movie ever, but I think it's the most intriguing as well.